Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm going over today. Today's market recap. I didn't go over yesterday or the day before because I think it was just kind of there was just no opportunity at all. Um, However, for today there was, so I'm going to upload a recap for today. I ended up low key trading like a donkey today. I got up too late. I was low key trading with brain fog. No excuse, but I ended up taking a really silly loss today after missing out due to my trade of 8 lagging on a really A plus setup. So anyway, enough about my issues that I had today. Let's just go over price and see what we ended up doing today. So coming into today, overall leaning pretty bullish. I mean, you can't really say otherwise. We're delivering from a higher time frame key level all the way up to all-time highs. It's just all-time highs, higher time frames looking bullish, and overall the lower time frame is also looking pretty bullish too. In a sense, structure obviously bearish, but how we were moving pre-market, we were looking bullish in my eyes at minimum to this hourly gap. This was definitely my draw on liquidity coming into market open. We also had a failure swing to this hourly gap. We reswept, and then we are now currently delivering from a 4-hour inversing a 15-minute. Overall disrespecting this range. If we want to go into this range and look at this lower time frame range that we have going on here leading up to this hourly gap with this range high being the failure swing, we have actively disrespected every single gap in a premium within this bearish range. So my next strong liquidity was very simply just going to be range high, and then also of course this unfilled hourly gap above us. Pretty simple stuff. If we were to end up just like kind of ripping lower here, I don't really think I'd be looking for anything, to be honest. Kind of just targeting thin air. So yeah, unless there was liquidity generated on the way down. But anyway, so overall, what time is this? This is 9, so 9:15. Cool. So market ends up opening lower here, exactly how I wanted it to. And honestly, there's not really much I can say here. If we also draw out this new range that we had accumulated here, as you can see, we come into this 30-minute for value gap, which is also 15. We wick CE of the range, we wick 0.79, and we kind of mess around. We have like a little failure setup here, then a stop hunt. Like, this is the thing about these gaps as well. So we had this 30-minute gap here. Hold on. Right here, we had initial mitigation of the gap. So the initial mitigation of this 30-minute fair value gap, which is also at CE of this entire range, and initial mitigation, it was great, right? Or it wasn't great, whatever. We had it. So I'm yapping. Hold on. We had initial mitigation of this fair value gap. Then we had like a failure move higher, and then we had a resweep of that initial mitigation being the stop hunt inside of the key level, while also reacting off this is 0.705. Just this good area within this discount of this range here. I was really liking this. And then from here, we just ended up getting a clean CISD, and I was literally clicking buy to set my position, but my trade of 8 just started lagging out, and I don't know what happened, but I was not able to get into this. And by the time I was able to actually click buy on this trade, this would have been targeting the 1-hour gap. Click buy on this trade, it was already like gone past the next candle, or it was like, I think right here. And at this point, I was like, well, like, I mean, I think I actually still could have taken this and just aimed for a 1-to-1 and gotten it, but like at that point, my head was not really in the game. Like, my entry, I really wanted to enter here, but I got cooked on this because of trade of 8, and then at this point, I just decided to leave it because we were entering the hourly gap. I mean, I still could have taken it. Realistically, still could have taken like an entry like right here, targeted a 1-to-1, went break even at the hourly gap, but I don't know, I was kind of just a bit pissed off in the moment, and I didn't really react properly to it. So yeah, after this was like a really A plus setup in my opinion. There was a one valid reason to fade this setup. The only valid reason I seen, or the risk, was that ES was not really distributing. It did end up distributing right after we got like this candle right here, so even an entry here would have been completely fine on this setup. But ES was kind of messing about. But just overall, looking at like the range, what we've been doing, again, like this is just really simple stuff. We have a DOL above as well, backing this being an unfilled hourly gap. We look at this range, also delivering off this 4-hour. So can we presume that this 4-hour that we're delivered off is going to take us higher? Yes. Why? Because we are actively disrespecting premium inside of a bearish range. And then what do we do when we actively disrespect premium? We make a new range, which is this right here. And then we are actively respecting discount inside of a bullish range. Like stop hunt, resweep, 0.705 reaction level, CISD, clear targets, range high is the next DOL. Pretty obvious stuff, right? And then at this point, I was kind of a bit salty. I don't know why. And then I ended up taking a really bad loss. I think it was. Yeah, we came down here and then we inversed a 5 minute gap. And I was kind of looking at the range and I seen us respect like a 2 minute gap here and then get a 1 minute CISD. I don't even know why I took this, to be honest. Like, this was trash. I think I was just convicted. Um, Honestly, yeah, bro, I can't even lie. I just brain fog on the charts today. I played this like a stinker. I mean, overall, it wasn't even that bad of a trade. And we inversed a 5 minute gap. The only problem, the huge major issue with this was is that I had a 5 minute gap at my stop loss, or not even at my stop loss. I had like my stop loss a little lower here. I had a 5 minute gap opening at my stop loss, and ES was also looking very obviously drawn towards this DOL that we had, which was SMT'd pre market. We already had it SMT'd. I think it was just this 4 hour low. But again, ES was like really, really showing it. Any trade like after this was kind of iffy in my opinion. I think a few people. I think I was also trading a rejection block against a rejection block, possibly as well. Maybe not. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, this was just like a pure low key kind of FOMO. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Not proud, but man enough to say it kind of moment. Yeah, this was just trash. Like, I don't know why I took this. I had the range marked out as well. And I just seen that we were respected that 1 minute gap or 2 minute gap and made a move higher. CISD, I was just expecting range high again with this, but like, it's just the narrative behind it was pretty poor. It was also, what was this? What did 10 a.m. do? 10 a.m. kind of manipulated lower, I guess. It wasn't really even that like horrible of a trade. Like, it made sense, but it was not like a trade I would take normally. And even in back testing, I wouldn't take a trade like this, especially since um it's just like the narrative behind it is just not that good at all. Also just being way too hasty here. I know that we did end up respecting this 2 minute gap in a premium and then making a move higher. We CISD'd, but like still, it was just not really all that great. Especially the threat to my stop loss was just super strong. That was like the main issue with this trade was the threat to my stop loss. Even though it doesn't look that bad on Nasdaq, on the S&P 500, I think we were like we left like relative equal lows with like that 4 hour low, and it just wasn't looking good. Especially it made no sense for the S&P 500 not to take the low as well. So it was kind of just a lack of narrative and a bit patterny. Not something I'd usually take, and of course I ended up suffering the consequences for that, losing around $400 on this trade, which is completely fine. You know, shit happens. I'm going to journal this and move on. Definitely not take this until the next day or next coming trades that I end up taking. That's simply just going to be it. So yeah, trade of the day, in my opinion, was 100% this 1 minute CISD. Even if you got an entry here, didn't make a difference. Entry right here or entry on this 1 minute CISD, both entries were completely fine and played out 2-1-1. I was 100% trying to get in on this original CISD and just target the 1 hour gap, go break even at the internal range high. But again, unfortunately, my trade debate did not agree with me today. Is what it is. Can't really do much about that. Sort of let that get into my head for the rest of the session, which I shouldn't have. That's super like unprofitable of me to let something so stupid like that get into my head, but it is what it is. Happens to the best of us. We learn from it and we move on. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's trade recap, guys. That's how I lost $400 by forcing a setup, which I definitely did not need to do. And yeah, it is what it is. If you guys ended up taking anything today, let me know in the comments below. I'm always interested to see if you guys ended up taking anything. And if you have any questions on why this was a good setup or why anything, what I just explained in the video, also leave that in the comments below. And my Instagram, Discord, and TikTok will be in the bio of this video if you guys want to check them out. Give me a follow or give me a message if you want to talk to me personally. Documented my entire journey to profitability, so excited for the future of this channel. Again, pretty rough start, not a rough start to the week, I'm not even going to say that, just a bit of a hiccup from me for the start of the week, which is no problem. Shit happens, is what it is. Not going to cry about it. And yeah, except for that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope you have a blessed day and peace.